Whew. Howdy y'all, it's your boy RickyMoto. Welcome back to yet another video. Can you see yourself in the reflection? I don't know. I'm about to go to work in a little bit, which is why I'm dressed up in my work outfit. But in the meantime, since I have a little bit of time, I'm gonna be going around for a little ride, chatting with y'all. But check out the car, the F32. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna put my phone inside my jacket so it doesn't fly away. I'll put it in my pocket. Hopefully it doesn't fly out of the pocket. It's like dress pants, so it's kind of slippery. That'll be terrible if it flies out. Yeah, if I'm sitting and it's like cranked up, I shouldn't lose my phone. But anyways, hope you guys are having a brilliant day. It's finally getting warm out, which is nice. So riding season is finally coming. It's like in the 50s to 60 degrees out here in New York. I have a oil light because I got to do an oil change soon. I'm at 456 miles and I'm going to probably do my oil change at 600, which is the break-in period. Oh man, woohoo! Ooh, we have a Tesla Model Y. Apparently everyone is getting the Model Y now. It's been such a popular car. I just want to say thank you to all the love and support that y'all have been showing recently on the channel. Have you seen my Road to 1000 video? I talked about how I'm trying to get monetized for this channel, which means I need to get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in a year. Currently we are at 700 subscribers, so we're getting closer every single day, and we are currently at 2,500 watch hours, so a little bit more to go on that side. And this week for me has been, oh my gosh, so stressful. I've been actually getting into crypto mining recently. I'm a newbie to it. I don't really know what I'm doing per se, but I do have a lot of experience in PC building because I used to do that back in the day. The amount of PCs that I've built over the years is, I can't even count, but I'm pretty knowledgeable in tech, I'd say. So I don't think it's too much of a learning curve. But yeah, I've been running back and forth to Micro Center and like Staples and whatever, like gathering equipment to build a mining rig. And I currently have about 3 PCs set up right now, just testing out different graphics cards. And I'm trying to find out which card is the most profitable for the price. And I kind of narrowed it down to the RTX 3090 and the RTX 3060 Ti. And I've just been comparing those two, if I should get multiple 3060 Ti's or just one 3090. And in the process, I've made about 10 bucks in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, which is not bad for like just testing purposes. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why I ride a motorcycle. I feel like this is a pretty important topic to talk about because I feel like motorcycles typically have a negative reputation. Like a lot of people hate motorcycles, I gotta say, and especially like the Karen type people, you know, like the middle-aged, the older generation people. They just don't get it, which honestly is a little confusing to me because I'm like, didn't back then a lot of people used to ride motorcycles? Like it's always been a thing. So I don't know why motorcycles are hated upon by so many people. I mean, like my parents hate it too. You know, they didn't actually approve of me buying a motorcycle or riding it ever. And the way I got my motorcycle was I just did it. I just literally saved up money. I went to the MSF course by myself and I bought a bike. And when I did that, obviously they were like hella pissed. They're like, yo, what the heck did you do? But now they kind of get it a little bit and like they're okay with it. They don't really bother me anymore in terms of riding. But like when I would ask them, like, what is it about motorcycles that you dislike so much? Like, why is it so hated upon? And I guess it all comes down to safety, right? You know, like people don't want you getting hurt. They don't want you dying on a motorcycle. And you know, motorcycles, I will admit, are inherently more dangerous than driving a car. But I don't think that should steer people away because that danger is mitigated depending on how you ride and your riding skill. You know, motorcycles, yes, sure, are more dangerous because, you know, you're out in the open. There's no covering. I mean, if you're wearing full-blown body gear, okay, sure. But I mean, in an event of a crash, being in a car is significantly safer for sure. I think it all just comes down to the safety of it. You know, it's dangerous, and I don't, and if that's just the leading thing of why motorcycles have a bad reputation, I feel like a lot of motorcycle accidents are caused because people don't know how to ride properly. You know, how you position yourself on the road, you know, if you're riding aggressively, all of those things, you know, play into consideration in terms of the death rate and the safety, you know. And also a lot of riders ride hella aggressively And, you know, it pisses people off because you're like cutting people off, squeezing in between cars and whatever, swerving in and out of traffic. Now, I can't say that I'm not guilty, you know, like I've done pretty reckless things on a, you know, crotch rocket before, and, you know, it's not great. And I did get a lot of hate comments on my channel of people saying that, like, you ride crazy, you're gonna kill yourself, yada yada yada. And that's typically on my pure ride videos or my pure sound videos where I'm not talking, I'm just riding. All that aggressive riding that I do is really only 10% of how I actually ride. 90% of the time, I'm pretty chill. Like, I'm just cruising for the most part. The reason why the pure ride videos, all of them look so intense and aggressive is because I purposely cut those clips out from my riding and put it into a montage for the pure sound because I want to show off the exhaust. I want people to hear the sound of the engine roar. So that's why I specifically cut those clips out and use it for my pure sound videos. That's another thing. People hate how loud motorcycles are, and it's annoying. Okay, I get that. But that's a safety thing, you know? Like, if they can't hear you, they can't, you know, tell that you're around and they're gonna hit into you. I think it's important for a motorcycle to be loud. But going back to my point about aggressive riding, yeah, you know, that's why my pure sound videos have a lot of cuts in it, because I'm cutting out all the boring stuff. But yeah, there's a couple things you can do to reduce the risk of riding a motorcycle. You know, I think the most important part is your positioning, you know, how you place your body on the road. For example, like this is a terrible spot. I'm in the car's blind spot, they can't see me. So I would go ahead of them so they can see me. And also, you should never just stay in a blind spot, even if you're driving, you know, like that's just basics. That's just stuff you should know, just for being a driver or a rider. Another thing is you have to ride with the mentality that you're invisible, you know, like you have to pretend as if no one can see you on the road. So you're more aware of where you place yourself. And you have to be constantly examining the road to find escape points. Now, what escape points are places that you can dodge to in an event where something happens and you need to get out of a situation. So you do have to be quite alert as you ride. You can't, you know, doze off. I feel like if you're driving, you could slightly get away with being tired as long as you're able to focus on driving. But on a motorcycle, you can't cut corners. I know people like drink and ride, but that's terrible because like your attention span or your awareness is decreased by like so much. Like, for example, an escape point right now would be the left lane, the yellow zone. If for example, like this guy cuts me off on the right, I can at least go, you know, towards the left into the other lane. Right now, my escape point would be the right lane right here because it's empty. You know, you have to constantly be examining the road and seeing where you can place yourself so then you won't get, you know, hurt. For example, another escape point right now, if this guy cuts into my lane, I can go into the shoulder over here. And that will reduce, you know, your accident rate by a whole lot. Now let's talk about why I like to ride and why people love motorcycles. Typically, if you ask any rider why they like to ride, I think the most common like word that they'll use is that they feel a lot of freedom. You know, you're out in the open, it feels like you're riding a bicycle in a way where, you know, it's just fun. You're just cruising around and you have total control of the vehicle. And motorcycles are so nimble too. Like, you have total control. Everything is very like instantaneous. So you really feel connected to the machine because you feel most motorcycles are also manual transmissions, so you can shift the gears, you can really ride the way you want, which could help with anxiety and whatnot, which is why it's therapeutic. You know, like when it comes to anxiety and depression or whatever, I'm not a mental health expert or a therapist, so don't take this advice too seriously, take it with a grain of salt. But, you know, at least for me, when I'm stressed out, I like to ride because when you're stressed, when you're anxious, it's typically because you're in a situation where you don't feel stable, where you don't feel like you're in control of that situation in your life. So when you hop on a bike and you have total control of the machine, it kind of distracts you of that lack of control feeling. And besides the whole, you know, therapeutic aspect, motorcycles are just fun, you know? You can just bomb down the road and enjoy the bike, enjoy the speed, the power of it. You know, there's a lot of factors as to why people like to ride. You know, if you want to look cool, if that's really something that you care about, you know, motorcycles look freaking sick. You know, you get a lot of attention if that's something that you like. Everyone is literally looking at you. If a motorcycle passes down the street, you're gonna look at it, right? Not only because of the sound, just because it looks sick, like this little jet just flew by you. And you always see these little kids like looking at you. You know, there's countless times where like these kids are looking at me and they wave at me and I wave back. Or like the guy in the next car next to me at like a red light is looking at me and gives me like a thumbs up. Like, that's freaking dope. When you get a motorcycle, what comes with it is a community. You know, it doesn't matter if you ride a Harley, it doesn't matter if you ride a sport bike or a super sport or like a Grom or something. The community, there's always a community out there of people who love to ride and share the similar interests as you. And you know, you can build friendships. You can build friends online. You can go to group rides, go to group events, like kind of like Cars and Coffees, but like motorcycle edition, if that makes sense. And you can always just chat to these people about bikes, about different specs, about riding techniques, whatever the heck. You can talk about the gear that you wear, the different helmets. You know, like there's so much you can connect on with other people. So I think the community is just as important as it is riding on your own. Whenever you're riding around and you see another rider pass by you, you give like that, you know, peace sign on your hand, you know, and that's like sick. It's like your own little crew, even though these guys are technically strangers to you. It's amazing, you know. And ever since I got this bike, I've actually connected with so many motovloggers and just riders in general on the internet. I gotta say, I'm not the most social type of person, you know. I'm not one to have a lot of friends, and ever since I got this bike, I've talked to more people than I ever have. And it's about, you know, our own interests, which is dope because we're talking about things that we like. You don't gotta worry about, oh, this guy being fake, oh, my friends don't like what I do. Well, it's because you're not looking in the right place for friends. You know, if you want to have friends that, you know, like the same thing that you like, get a bike. I mean, that's a terrible thing to say, but you get my point. You know, there's a huge community of riders and it's a great way to connect with people. Now, if you think about it on a practical level, why you should ride a motorcycle, if you live in a tight city, you know, where cars have trouble fitting on the roads, or, you know, parking is a pain in the ass, and especially the gas prices now, guys. The gas prices are freaking nuts. Motorcycles are small, so you can find parking easily. You can squeeze through little tiny gaps, and also gas is super cheap on bikes. On this bike, on average, I'll get like 50 miles to the gallon. Like, yo, what the heck? My BMW, I'm getting like 20 miles per gallon, and I'm using premium fuel, which is $5. This bike takes regular. Now, if you have a liter bike, that's a different story. You gotta use premium, but still, you get incredible mileage. And if you're a speed demon, a performance demon, you know, you get so much performance to weight ratio with the bike. Like a $10,000 motorcycle is as fast as a Lamborghini, and you're only spending $10,000 to get that performance. You don't gotta spend your whole life savings on a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so cheap to have a bike. The maintenance on it is so cheap. Now, I will say, if you had to have one vehicle, I would not suggest getting a bike. I would definitely suggest getting a bike as a second vehicle, because I mean, as practical in a sense they are, they're not practical in many other ways. For example, like the weather. If it's too cold or too hot out, it'll be uncomfortable to ride. And if it's raining or snowing, you can't ride either. But yeah, guys, that's why I ride a motorcycle. I think it's such an amazing thing. It's very relaxing. You know, it's fun. I love the community that comes with it. I love the design of bikes. I love working on mechanics too, because I'm a geek, I'm a nerd. You know, I before bikes and cars, I was always working and building computers. So when I switched over to building vehicles, it was a very fun thing because it was in the same realm. But yeah, guys, just this little short ramble about why I ride a motorcycle and why you should ride a motorcycle. Screw all the haters, screw all the people who shit on you for riding or liking bikes. They just don't understand it, you know? And that's totally okay. You know, just like, for example, if someone is an artist and they like to paint, and that painting is like their escape of reality and it's relaxing and therapeutic for them, you might not understand that either. You're like, what the heck? That's so boring. It's so stressful trying to paint something. But to them, it makes perfect sense. You know, it's the same exact concept when it comes to bikes. You know, that this is something that only you will understand if you like riding. But anyways, I'm gonna turn around here because I gotta go to my valet job. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's been your boy RickyMoto, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.